AITA for getting our own hotel room after our friends expected us to sleep on bunk beds. So basically my 26F and my boyfriend 27M went to Orlando Universal for a weekend for one of our friends' birthdays. 3 couples in total. Let me preface this by saying that there were 2 rooms. One room had 2 queen-sized beds in it and the other had just 1 bed. Obviously birthday girl and her boyfriend slept in the one room, and her boyfriend's brother and his girlfriend were going to stay in the other room with my boyfriend and myself. This was planned beforehand. As soon as we got to the hotel, my boyfriend and I were checking out the room and I said, "So which bed do you guys want?" And the brother said, "What? No way," and claimed the entire double room, basically implying that he wanted privacy to bang his girlfriend all weekend. I said, "Wait a minute. Where are we supposed to sleep?" They said the bunk beds in the hallway. I didn't even notice them, but basically there were 2 twin-sized bunk beds in the tightest squeeze of a hallway and they expected us to sleep on those when there was a perfectly sized queen bed in one of the rooms. I would have fit on one perfectly fine, because I'm small, but my boyfriend would have definitely been uncomfortable. We also would have had to share the bathroom, which was inside their room. So how would we go about using it in the middle of the night with their door locked, or in the morning waiting for them to wake up? Mind you, I've been on vacation multiple times with many friends and we've always shared rooms, couples and everything, so this threw me off. If a couple needed privacy, we'd let them be for a bit and just hang out in the living room. Also, you really can't spend 2 days without sex? I thought about it and I just decided to get our own room. This put a damper on the whole vacation because birthday girl wanted us all to be together and my boyfriend, though he stood by me publicly, later told me I was being in a hole. So, was I the AITA for insisting to my husband and his parents that I need help with our kids and we need to hire someone, and it's not me trying to pawn my stepdaughter off on someone else? My husband and I have 3 kids in our home. My stepdaughter is 9. I have known her since she was 2, and I became her stepmom when she was 4. We also have a 3-year-old son and a 10-month-old daughter together. To give some background info first, my stepdaughter's mom was not in the picture when I met my husband. She never wanted to claim any parental responsibilities, and when I met my husband, his ex had accumulated a lot of child support debt and had not seen my stepdaughter since the hospital. I signed up for being a second parent and I love my stepdaughter, and in my heart I consider her one of my kids just as much as my bio children. We had such a good relationship. She would sometimes call me mom, sometimes my name, but she'd always say my husband and I were her parents, and she adored her brother when he was born. Over 2 years ago her mom came back into the picture and said she wanted to see my stepdaughter. My husband said it would need to be a gradual thing, but my stepdaughter had a right to know her. His ex didn't like that and sued for full custody, and yes, after having nothing to do with her for 7 years, she lost, but this started us on a step-up plan for her to gain some custody. It's been hell. My relationship with my stepdaughter suffered badly because of all this. Her relationship with her siblings has also suffered. She is rude to me now, refuses to listen to me, and rejects the 3 of us. It's always worse after she sees her mom. My husband took this issue to court and the judge made it clear he will never sever the relationship between mom and daughter, no matter what. I'm struggling. If I give her the time and attention needed, it comes at the cost to our younger kids. But if I focus just on them, it's not giving her the time and attention she needs, and the counselor told us she needs to see I'm not going anywhere. She really emphasized that it was important. The counselor even spoke to the judge, a different one this time, and the judge said he was going to follow the previous judge's decision that contact is never to be severed between mother and daughter. My husband brought this issue back to court because it was getting worse. So now we're at a point where I can't be in charge of all 3 at the same time all day, especially now school is out, but even during school time it's too much. I told my husband we need to hire some sort of helper for me with the kids. He was against it and told me it was a big expense after we spent a fortune on court and therapy. His parents heard us talking about it the other day and they jumped in to say I wouldn't do this if all 3 were my bio kids and I just want to pawn my stepdaughter off on someone else. I insisted this was not true to all 3, and I insisted I needed help because the kids will suffer in the long run and so will my mental health. My husband felt guilty because I got very emotional, but his parents said I just proved I wouldn't do this if they were all really mine. AITA for refusing to allow cousin-in-law's family to move in when they're about to be homeless. My husband's cousin Chris and his wife Rachel have 3 kids, 13, 5, 3. And we've hung out twice since our daughter 7.5 was born. We're not close. Rachel has always been rude to me. Before my husband met me, Rachel had a thing for him and tried to date him. He never reciprocated, and then when we became official, Rachel started dating Chris. Chris called asking if they can move in with us as they're homeless. Chris and Rachel missed rent payments and got evicted and have been couch surfing with their 3 kids for the past month or so. My husband said he would need to talk to me first. My immediate response was no. Husband agreed, although he felt bad. Chris's family had been giving them money to make their rent payments, and instead of paying rent, they used the money for other things. Chris works odd construction jobs and doesn't make much. Rachel claims she can't work because because of ADHD. Chris called back. Husband apologized and said we don't have the space. Chris tried to say we have 5 bedrooms. My husband clarifies that we don't, we have 4. One of which is my office. Chris says he's disappointed and he would have helped us. My husband says I WFH and need the house to be quiet. Chris says he doesn't understand where we get the impression that their kids can't be quiet and he's offended. Rachel says we have the money and a big house to help, but that we would rather see 3 kids end up on the streets because I'm greedy. I snap and tell her that her kids are not my responsibility and I'm not comfortable sharing my home with strangers. It's not our problem that they mismanage their finances and that maybe she shouldn't have gotten her nails done every week and paid their rent instead. She responded that I don't understand how hard they have it because I'm privileged and providing for 3 kids isn't cheap, so I said maybe she should get a job and stop using ADHD as an excuse, and they should have thought of that before having kids, and hung up. Husband's phone starts blowing up with calls from family members. He picks up Chris's dad's call. Paul wants to know why we're unwilling to help. I asked him why he and his wife haven't opened their home, as this is his son and grandkids after all. He says Chris, Rachel and the kids stayed for a week but their house is too small and it didn't work out. I told him that we aren't close to Chris, Rachel and have no obligation to them, and I suggested he and his wife reopen their home to their son and grandkids. He says they did open their home and now it's our turn. I laughed and hung up. So now my husband's family thinks that we're cruel and heartless. We also haven't disclosed that I'm pregnant, which is also a big reason they're anti-vax, and I don't want to be exposed, and I'll be going on mat leave for a year as of January, so we're trying to save up. So AITA for refusing to help a girl in gym unless she stops recording me. I think I acted rudely with a girl in the gym and wanted to get opinions on if I was the I in this situation. I 41 go to the gym early morning around 5:30 a.m. There are generally very few people that come to the gym at that time. There is a girl early 20s that also comes to the gym at the same time. We always say hello to each other and have a small talk between our sets. She comes in early because the gym is empty, and she likes to record herself working out as she wants to be a fitness influencer or something. She seems dedicated and we know each other for at least a year. Today morning, as I was working out, she came to me and asked for help. She was very excited and told me that she wanted to go for a PR on barbell squat. She asked me if I could spot her as she was not confident if she would be able to do it. I said okay, as this is not the most uncommon thing. For people who are unfamiliar, this is an exercise where you carry a barbell with weights on your back and perform a squat. The spotter has to stand behind the person and support the person in case they fail to get up. As she was getting ready, I saw her phone in the corner and asked her if I can be off camera or if she can stop recording. She said she really wanted to record herself doing it, and I will look good on camera. I told her that I really do not want to be on camera as my wife or co-workers may watch the video if she posts it online and may not look good for me. Another reason that I did not tell her was that she was wearing a very revealing outfit, small sports bra and tight shorts, and I really did not feel comfortable being recorded standing behind her. She promised me that she will record it for herself, and not post the video. However, I just did not want to be recorded. I told her that I really feel uncomfortable, and if she waits for 30 minutes, one of the trainers may be able to help her. She became really upset and asked me why I am making the situation weird. She accused me of sexualizing her. She asked me if she was a man, would I have done it? I felt she had a point, as I have done it for other people. I told her that I would be okay doing it, but I just don't want to be recorded doing it. She again went on a rant about me body shaming her and me being uncomfortable with her perfectly fine outfit. I felt bad that I upset her as she was just trying to work out. I have also asked people to spot me in past, and people always helped. However, I just did not want to be recorded. Am I the AITA refused to spot her because she was recording it? I don't want her to feel that it was because of her clothes, or because she is a girl. However, as a married man, I need to observe some boundaries and really don't want to be recorded in that way with a girl half my age. I am also worried that she recorded our whole conversation and may post it online. I do not know what I should do in this situation and am a bit worried. AITA for refusing to help my younger sibling after how she has mistreated me and the family in the past. Background story: so I have moved out and am living with other housemates. My younger sister, 27, is still living with the parents. She has been pretty spoiled when she was younger and is still now. Still has not got her driver's license. Rarely if ever cleans up after herself, so family is forever washing up dishes after her, cleaning the house after her. Rarely helps with cleaning bathroom, toilet, etc. The parents are going on holiday for a few weeks and have asked if I can look after her while they are away. They want me to move back to their place for a few weeks so I'm available there to cook for the both of us, and can drive her to and from school and work. I said I can help out from time to time but not every day. Then they suggested why doesn't she move in with me, as the place I am living in now is just less than 10 minutes by bus to her school, and it's 15 minutes drive to her workplace. The parents' house is about 90 minutes bus ride to the school and 20 minutes bus ride to her work. She starts school early at 8 or 9 a.m. a.m. and sometimes does not finish work till 8 p.m. or later. Now I feel this is stepping a line. Not only am I giving up my time and effort but also my comfort and having to share a bed. Like I mentioned before, she is a bit of a slob and doesn't clean up after herself. And not only that, she is not very grateful, i.e. one time my dad asked her for petrol money for all the trips he was making to take her to work. He said, "You are spending so much on Uber Eats, you may as well give me some petrol money." She got really angry about it. So I mentioned these details to my parents and they were not happy about it, saying I'm not a good older sibling. Look at ex's daughters who are going on holiday together for a few days. Well, I said, look, she is not grateful about it, so why bother? They said, look, if you help her then she will help you. Look, mom had an accident and was unable to drive for a few months. She only visited once and that was it until mom was useful again for getting lifts. And that time you asked me to follow her to the city to look after her when she was hanging out with friends and she literally ditched me. After so many of these types of scenarios with her, it has left a really bad taste in my mouth. I don't want to be cleaning up her mess in the share house. Better for her to stay alone at the parents' house, and she can clean up after herself, or leave the garbage to rot. AITA for refusing to sleep on a pull-out couch during vacation. I 28F planned a family trip with my parents and my brother 25M. Before I officially booked the Airbnb that we would all be splitting the price on, I sent each of them the listing, showing how many bedrooms, what accommodations, etc. I made sure to double check with my brother as the house is only 2 bedrooms. One room has 2 full-size beds, the other a king bed. I asked if he would mind sharing a room with me as 3 bedrooms in this area were harder to find. He said it was fine because we'd each have our own bed and asked me to book it. Once our parents signed off on it, I booked it. When we arrive, before we even have our first night's sleep, my brother declares he thinks he and I should alternate sleeping on the pull-out couch in the living room. I say I'm not going to do that. If he doesn't want to sleep in the room designated for us, that's fine. But I'm not sleeping on a pull-out on vacation when there's 2 beds. I asked why he doesn't want to share a room and why this didn't come up sooner. He said we were adults and he was too old to share a room. I asked why he didn't bring this up sooner. He said he figured I'd agree to the pull-out situation. I said he shouldn't have assumed or at least had a conversation with me. He kept insisting and I said no. If he wants to sleep out there a whole vacation, fine. But I'm not alternating when I paid for a bed. Him sleeping on the pull-out led to several conflicts with our parents, as he'd get mad if they came into the living room in the morning while he was still sleeping, but as they pointed out, it's the living room, a public space. If people wanted to hang out in the living room at night, he'd start bugging us to go into our rooms so he could sleep, as early as 8 p.m. We're on vacation. We're going to stay up a little later and hang out. I always offered to let him sleep in the extra bed in the room, but he refused unless I promised that I would sleep on the pull-out that night, which I didn't do. By the end of the 7-day, 6-night trip, he was irritated with all of us over this. My parents and I feel that he's the one who put himself in this situation and that there was an alternative to him sleeping on the couch, but he chose not to. However, my brother is insisting that I should have swapped with him. AITA for not sleeping on the pull-out. AITA for skipping my cousin's wedding for my one being revoked because I'm getting divorced. I 34F told my cousin 22F I wasn't interested in attending her wedding as she revoked my one because I'm getting divorced. Some additional context: this is my first time seeing my extended family since I left my cheating husband 7 months ago as we lived overseas. Last year at around the same time as the wedding, we visited my family in the US because my dad died unexpectedly and we were very much together and he appeared to be a loving, supportive partner. We're now very much in the divorce process and it's pretty brutal. When my cousin reached out 6 months ago to tell us her date and informally invite us, I informed her we were getting divorced and explained his infidelity and betrayal. She supported me and was a lovely supportive person. I asked her to bring my best friend of 15 years as my one instead since my soon-to-be ex-husband was invited. My cousin and ex met once or twice in total and my cousin and her partner didn't know my ex that well and likely just received an invite as my spouse. Several months later, I reminded my cousin again about bringing my best friend instead of my ex when some wedding event was happening, but she didn't answer about replacing my ex for my best friend for 5-6 weeks. I told my best friend and we made plans for a really fun weekend where I was now looking forward to the wedding versus dreading it. Wedding invitations were mailed last week. I surfed on the website and added a note to remind my cousin of my best friend coming as my one. Today, about 6-7 weeks out from the wedding, my cousin informed me that I could not bring my friend as my one instead of my ex as the list was tight and there were no longer extra spaces. I respectfully expressed my discomfort about coming alone considering how it's my first time seeing my family since my ex and I separated and that she had already accounted for my ex in the number count with the initial invite. The ceremony and reception is in a larger venue and is not a sit-down dinner. It's pretty casual, all things considering. When she stood firm, I said I was no longer interested in attending, not out of spite, but out of protecting myself and my mental health, and wished her well. Couldn't wait to hear about it on another day and to let us know if plans changed. I spent a bit of effort and money to fly from Europe, cutting my European trip early to come back and attend, and arranged my whole schedule to be there. Everyone else attending live's local, and several likely won't attend the wedding, knowing how flaky people can be, and it's over a popular holiday weekend. I was pretty proud of myself for having that difficult but respectful conversation, but when I informed my mother, she expressed disappointment with my decision, but I thought it was a mature decision to respectfully remove myself and not add any additional stress to my cousin, so I'm wondering if I'm the asshole here?